Hey friends, how are you? How's everyone doing today? I hope you are well wherever you are watching this across the world. If you are new here, hi, my name is Kat. You know that because you actually saw my channel name anyway. If you are returning, thank you so much for coming back and listening to another book chat. I am so excited. My little channel has grown a little bit along the way, and I just want to thank you so much for hanging out with me, listening to me chat about my favorite books. I hope to hear from you as well. What are your favorite books? All that fun stuff. It's really a passion project of mine to have some of these amazing authors that I have come to know and love and enjoy their books be seen on YouTube. It's such an amazing platform. It's a huge platform. And so I really want to get the word out about them. So thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it, and I know they do too. Today's book is called The Rest of Me by Ashley Munoz. If you look back in my channel list, you will see I did, oh boy, what did we, maybe two, three, I think this is my third video about one of Ashley's books. I adore her. I love her writing style. I just get it. I'm just all in. When she says that she's writing another book, I get excited. And this book I know was very personal to her. And so I couldn't wait when she talked about writing it. I couldn't wait to read it. And then we had talked about, when she talked about this book, actually I think a little bit before that, we had talked about the loss of our parents. And I lost my mom 4.5 years ago, and it's life-changing. Anyone that's lost a parent understands that. And she talked about losing her dad. It was a special moment that we had that connected us. And then lo and behold, here we are. She's written a book about it. Oh, I knew, oh my gosh, I knew it was going to be emotional. And she promised that if we stick through, that it was going to be happy. And let me tell you, I got tears in my eyes just reading the introduction, because she dedicates the book to her dad. And I don't want to bring this video down so much, but there's so much behind it. This book, so the introduction, she says that, but she can change fate and give the people involved a happy ending. I'm paraphrasing. That's how this book starts. Oh my gosh. So this book is about Layla and Reed. Layla is a widowed mom of 4 children. Oh my gosh, these kids, Michael, Stephen, Jovi, and Henley, oh my gosh, they pulled at my heartstrings. And Layla is in her middle 30s when this happens. Her husband dies in a tragic car accident, and she is trying to figure out how to move on, move forward, move anywhere. And anyone that's endured a loss as close as that, my heart goes out to you. And having endured a lot of loss in my life, although not this particular way, and God willing, I will have my husband till we are old and gray. Well, I'm already gray. Till we're old. I can't imagine what it's like. So I knew going in that I was going to connect with Layla immediately, in that we've all suffered loss, and I'm married and I have children. And so to read her perspective and her story was, I knew, going to be very tender for me, and that my heart was really going to be all invested in her story and wanting to go through it and move through it with her. And that's the beauty of Ashley's writing, is that she writes romance books. I just heard the the words closed door romance or something like that, which means that it's a romance book, but there's not sexy time that's blatantly in your face. And that's what Ashley writes, and she writes it beautifully, because you get all the angst and all the love and all the feeling and the emotional that emotion that an attraction, two people have for each other in her books. And we don't need to go beyond that, because it's beautiful. So exactly the way she writes it. So going back, Layla just, the book starts and it's the 1-year anniversary of her husband's death, and she's like, I have to pick myself up. I have to, I have to move a little bit. She has moved her family to Douglas, Wyoming. She's bought a house on many acres, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. She read that horses are great therapy for children that have suffered trauma. And so she bought a couple horses, and she bought all this property. And, to me, it was like she was buying peace, and that she was in such inner turmoil, and there was such trauma in their lives. I felt like her being in this most beautiful God's country place, Wyoming, that's the reason why she did it. I understood that about her. Reed is the hero in the story, and he happens to live in the house and own the house next door. There's a little more history between their two houses. Fate brought her to her particular house, which we find out a bit later in the book. And Reed is approximately the same age. He has moved back to the house after being away for many years. He has suffered some life events and just felt like he needed to regroup. So he moved back. He is from that area, so he moves back home. And I liked Reed right from the get-go. He was just kind of the salt of the earth cowboy. He actually had, the reason why he moved away was that he wanted the big city life, and so he went to work for a big corporation and lived in Washington State someplace, and wanted out of, he grew up being a rodeo person, was a rodeo star, but wanted different, and so he left. Like I said, he has now come back. He just, I liked him. He was kind. He is kind. He is level-headed. He is sensitive. You can tell that about how he is with people. He is trying to find his footing as well. Like I said, we know that there's been, something that happened and that brought him back home. And his mom doesn't live there anymore, and he has other family members, but he connected, in a way that he had suffered loss as well. And I just, he was pretty swoony. Do you highlight every book that you read? Because I do. I had a lot of highlights, and I got to the point where there was so much that, the story is just so rich, and it was so familiar in so many ways to me that, I got to the point, and this happens to me often, is that I forget to highlight. But in any case, I have a lot of highlights. And something that was very poignant, and one of the very first things that I highlighted was when, like I said, the book starts with, it's the 1-year anniversary of Travis's death, and Layla gets up in the morning and she's like, okay, today's the day. Today's the day I try to find who I am again. Today's the day I try to be a good mom to my kids again. You can imagine, right? And she talks about this balance and trying to move on, but yet not forget. And she was totally in love with her husband when he died. And, he was a good dad, and he was a good man, and he was literally ripped from their family. One moment he was there, one moment he was not. And But the kids, you know, as a mom, you've got to figure out what your kids need. And in that situation, they come first, and she has put them first. And it's interesting because it was the kids that told her, Mom, we don't want to see you sad anymore. We don't want all the pictures of Dad around anymore because it makes us sad. And, you know, they're kids. The oldest, I think Michael, is 15. The youngest, Henley, is 5 or 6, I think she said. You know, variety, vast, you know, difference in maturity and age in those kids, but oh my God, did they had to grow up fast, right? So it was very poignant to me when she's sitting there and the kids are saying all this to her, and all she wants to do is figure out how not to cry, and how she spends her days crying. And she feels guilty when she, you know, feels like she does take a step forward and she's being pulled back, and she wants to stay back because that's where he is. Oh, whew. So Reed comes into their life pretty quickly, and like I said, there's little history. He lives next door. There's a little history about, you know, those two houses, and it's funny because he hears, you know, the windows are open in his house, and he sits there and he listens to the kids playing outside, and how he hears that, and he's in kind of a low place, and he's trying to find his footing in life again and figuring out where his life is going. And he hears them over there laughing and the kids playing, and he's like, oh, it's like one big happy family over there. Oh, and it was so, you know, you just never know. And they were having a good time. They were okay. They were playing, but he had no idea what was going on over there and what they were trying to go through and come through, if that makes any sense, if I made any sense there. You know, it was like, oh, Reed, oh, you have no idea. And like I said, Layla, they bought horses, and they have, I think, 3 horses, and she knows nothing about horses, but her sister is a vet, and so her sister's been helping her and the kids, and she realizes that the kids need lessons. And lo and behold, Reed comes to give them lessons, and that's how he's kind of, you know, introduced into their fold, so to speak, in that she goes to sign up for lessons, and he's the teacher, and he also becomes, with each child, develops a relationship organically with each of the kids. And reading that was really sweet. Oh my gosh. And how they were, you know, how Layla watched them. You know, she kind of stood back and let them kind of do that. She's like, they need that. He can learn from them. She was totally attracted to him, and she was pissed at herself that she was attracted to him, and very torn. But it was very sweet reading him develop these relationships with the kids. So it is a romance book, and so, like I said, they're attracted to each other. She's very torn about it. Reed picks up right away that there's not a husband or a boyfriend there, and then comes to find out that, you know, she is a widow. And so he's treading lightly, but he's very drawn to her and really likes her and likes the whole package. He likes the fact that she's a mom. He likes the kids. He sees them as a family, and he wants that. He wants a family. He wants all that he sees her have with her kids. And that was very sweet. And that added to his personality for me. That was definitely brownie points for Reed, how he responded to their, even though they were going through something monumental, he was going through something monumental himself. He felt very at peace being around them. And you know, sometimes it's just destiny, right? they decide that, she eventually tells Reed everything that's going on. And he doesn't treat her with kid gloves, but he's very respectful of it and her situation. And he lets her know that he's into her, but he also is so patient with her. She said things that just broke my heart, though. Oh my gosh. He's there giving the kids riding lessons, and the horses, like I said, are on their property, and so he just walks over from, his house right over there, and he gives lessons. Then he comes in, and he just kind of he just blends in. Like I said, it's very organic how he kind of begins to be part of in the fold. And so they start to get to know each other, and like I said, they like each other. But it broke my heart how she said things, and she's so torn about it. So at one point, the kids are not there. They're with her sister for the night. And so Reed comes over, and they're going to watch a movie. And he kind of becomes her rescuer as well, in a way that one of the horses, she says, is kind of mean and doesn't like her. And so he helps. There's a big thunderstorm coming in, and the horse won't go in the barn. And so he runs over because he doesn't want her to get hurt, because the horse is really upset, and he sees that that's all bad. So he runs over and he helps her. And that at another point, and I just totally got the heebie-jeebies, she comes downstairs and there's a snake in the kitchen. Oh my God. Okay. Number one fear of mine, snakes. I can't even talk about them with getting the heebie-jeebies. So I feel you, Layla. I would have been up on the counter shrieking like a mad woman as well. So he becomes, he's the next door neighbor. He can come right over. She feels safe with him. So anyway, I digress. They're going to watch a movie. And she said, she went upstairs to go and change because she realizes that she's not kind of dressed appropriately to be around another man. And like I said, the kids are gone, and she says, I turn towards the stairs and go upstairs to prepare myself to spend the evening with another man. Oh. And that's part of it. She was so in love with her husband. They had a good marriage, and he was ripped from her. When they finally find their footing and their relationship is starting to sprout a little bit, she said something else that really affected me. And she said that when she decided to move forward with Reed and let him in and start dating him, she said she began grieving her husband in a totally different way. And I thought, oh my God, I can't even talk about it. And Reed was so sweet. He said, because he said they could just be friends. He laid it out there that he was attracted to her. He wanted more from her. And she said, let's just try being friends to start with. So I'm going back a little bit. And he was so cute. He said he didn't think he was going to be able to do the friendship thing right, but man, that didn't change the fact that he was going to try. And then he wanted to fix them, all of them. Oh, he was so swoony. Oh my God, Reed. Whew. I did not see the little clues that Ashley left, the little breadcrumbs that she left along the way. I did not put two and two together. There's not a twist, but there's a bit of drama. And it's not just of everything that we've just talked about. It's something else, and it's pivotal to their story, and it affected them both deeply. I did not pick up on it. I think I was so I don't know, I didn't pick up on it until it was right there. And then I was like, oh my gosh, wait, I missed that. And then I was like, oh no, wait, I didn't miss it. I just didn't realize it was going to be what it was. And oh my God, that's when there were several chapters where I just cried and just cried because I thought, oh no, here we go. Okay, but Ashley, you promised me a happily ever after. I need it. Where is it? You have to give it to me. Oh, I fell so in love with them. All of them. The whole family. The kids. Oh, some of the lines Henley gave. Oh, and sweet Jovi. Oh my gosh. You will fall in love with this book. It gives you all the emotions that you can imagine, right? You will want, exactly like I did, you will want them to have their happily ever after. All of them. And rest assured, Ashley gave us their happily ever after. I had been waiting to read this book. I couldn't wait to see the story that she wrote about this. It's so good. You guys have to. You have to read it. As I am posting this video, it is almost release day. I can't wait for this book to finally be out in the world. It's amazing. Well done. Beautifully done, Ashley. So, so meaningful. So full of emotion. Highly recommend. Let me know if you have read any of Ashley's other books in the comments below. I will also include down in the description box the links to the other videos I have done about Ashley's books. A+, so well done. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I will see you in my next video. Bye.